I'm saying here.
Okay.
Hey, we did it.
We did it.
Oh
my gosh.
We were only 2 minutes late.
We were like crunch time on that thing.
Guys, we don't know how to YouTube. Well, if you're coming from Instagram, they already know it's pretty well. So, as I say, where do we want to
Chat will be there.
our names on
We
Instagram.
are big.
Holy smokes. Do you want that one?
Huh?
Oh, yes, please.
How's that?
OMG.
What's this here?
Is that your phone?
This is my phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot to take my questions. Let me grab my questions.
Where are they?
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter how I move the computer because we're live on this one.
Yeah. Hmm?
Yeah. All right. So I guess we got the chat right there.
We have the chat. We're good. We have both of us. Meow. Oh, what's meow?
Like, hello.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It is now. Oh.
We're taking a picture. What's going on, Scooby? How you doing,
Hey, Scooby
man?
Scoobs.
What's up, Scoobs?
Just so you're not watching the video. All
Yeah,
right,
whatever.
let's do this for anyone that's watching the replay.
Yeah, so today is the 8th of July. This is our first live. It's also our first video on YouTube. As you guys know, if you follow us on Instagram, that's where we originally started. We moved over to selling on Whatnot, and we sell on Instagram still. And now we started our own
YouTube.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. So this is it. Want to take this in?
You do whatever you want.
Ah,
that.
Sorry.
I can't type if you do that. Just
What do you need to talk for?
if someone has a question or something.
Can you
Trying to
answer
figure
with
out
your
dinner.
lips?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, huh? Whatever. I sent a few questions into the IG at the last minute, but I tried to come up with a few
Yeah,
questions. Oh, that's super appreciated.
We're doing an AMA section.
Yeah, so at the near the end of this stream, we'll have our AMA section.
So, who do you want to start with?
Well,
We are original Liberties.
yeah, so we are going to start with who's Skeleton Key Comics. Who we are as Skeleton Key Comics. So if you want to introduce people that are new to us, what we do, where we do it, and how to find us.
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
So, Skeleton Key Comics is a hubby and wifey owned virtual content creators, comic fam, like literally we have two kids that are with us right now. We kind of do dabble in every area of the hobby. I would say that's what Skeleton Key Comics are. We're ambassadors for Whatnot. Yeah, like we literally do everything that encompasses the hobby.
LCS stores, we hit Comic Cons, especially in the local area. We're planning on hitting some bigger ones pretty soon.
Yeah.
Going to California, going to New York, hitting up probably Georgia, maybe something like that. All those kind of bigger ones we plan on hitting up.
So us combined as Skeleton Key, we enjoy all the things.
Yeah. So if you want to find us on Instagram, we are at Skeleton Key Comics on there. On Whatnot, which is, if you don't know what Whatnot is, because it's a relatively new platform for selling comic books, it is an app that you can download. It has a bunch of different collectibles like pops, baseball cards,
Hey Theo.
non-sports trading cards, and comic books is what like one of the newest areas.
Almost all the collectibles. Yeah.
So we're on there. We're at skeleton _ key _ comics on there as well.
Yeah. So
more shallow than Whatnot or IG. Not sure if it's YouTube or what. I guess we have to speak up.
Oh, it's because the mic is in the webcam. That's what they said last time with the thing. With the thing, yeah.
All right, then we'll have to just speak up a little bit. Use your diaphragm.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah. Oh, what's up? Rage?
Okay, let's talk loud.
We're gonna talk loud?
We need to get lapel mics is what we need. Or like a legit mic.
Wait, these guys are using like big old things. I don't know what low end sound is or shallow really. Because it's not quiet, right?
Yeah, we don't sound loud.
Oh, okay.
All right, what's up?
Moving on. Sorry, guys. We'll figure this out eventually. Yeah, see, volume is good.
Okay.
Let's see. What is your origin story of comic books?
Like how I got into comics?
Yeah. Start from the beginning and move on. You got 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Is what I thought I did.
3 minutes and 32 seconds?
Mhm.
I can't do that in 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Alright, so basically, my origin story starts here. So, of course, like, I watched the animated series and, like, got into, like, the characters when I was little. But I didn't get into the comics until I was older, and I met this guy. So we met, and then basically after our first date, he was talking about how he was getting deployed. And I was like, what? You know? He's like,
It
yeah.
was just like that, too.
Yeah.
What?
I'm like, what? It was so sad and so, like, just upset.
So, first off, I need to correct this.
Wait, this is my origin
I know.
story?
I need to correct this because you said this before multiple times. I didn't get deployed for a year. I PCS for a year to command, which is not a deployment. It's something totally different.
Yeah, he got sent away where no one else could go with him for a whole year.
Yeah.
Call it what you want.
Thanks,
You were gone. Hey, thanks. So he told me that he had to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? You know? And he was like, I'm leaving in a week. And he was telling me he still had a bunch of stuff to pack. So naturally, I'm like, oh my gosh, can I help you, military man? I'm so sorry you have to go, you know? Because we weren't like officially dating yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes me to his house, of course. And he like super nervously took me to like what was basically the biggest room in the house, was it not?
No, the master bedroom is a bit bigger, but it was
huge.
It was a big room. It was a big long room. It was really perfect for a comic book room.
So he nervously took me into this room, and he opens the door, and there's like floor to like here.
Yeah, so I
like,
had
floor to here, wall to wall.
I had 5 racks of comics. With long boxes on both sides and short boxes on both sides, and the floor, and I think the closet also had some stuff in it.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's this?
It was about, I think it was something like 40 long boxes and like 30 short boxes, something around there.
He was red, like
Nervous,
red,
embarrassed.
Like vermilion.
Yeah,
vermilion, as they say on How I Met Your Mother, the color cardinal shade. He was so red and embarrassed when he brought me into this comic room. But then as I started like getting like super intrigued, because like to me, I'm just thinking like, well, if anyone's gonna spend this amount of money, come in a whole bedroom, and just have like it's so like well organized and just like so many of something, it must be like cool or super intriguing.
It was super organized.
It was. It looked very proud. It was so organized.
And so
I like gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was just like, like cool. Like, can you explain what's going on? And then he told me about his comics and then about how we had to pack them, or he had to pack them.
Yeah. So time out. So the plan for packing was I thought
I had 3 minutes and 32 seconds.
I was just hoping. So my plan was to put them in a climate controlled storage.
I was gonna get there. Storage
locker, right? And so what I had to do before I met her is what my plan was to put it in there, and I got that wrap that you put around like your luggage on like big. I see that at international airports sometimes in like Japan or whatever. And anyways, like what's that? Plastic wrap. It's like plastic wrap, but it's like this big rolls. And so I was like, okay, well, to keep bugs out, to keep as much moisture out, I'll just wrap all of the boxes up everywhere, and then I'll put it away. And it turned out like I think I got some of it done.
I'll get there
before you, and I got some of it done.
He didn't get anything before me. There was nothing done before me. Correct, and I specifically remember because you have muscle and I don't. So good news for him. I worked at a food pantry that my parents had. I had put a zillion hours there for 15 years, and we had used that same wrap to wrap the food boxes in the summer, so they wouldn't bugs wouldn't get in them. So we wrapped super heavy boxes of food every single day with that same type of wrap. So I did know how to use it. I had a little bit of muscle in me, just a little bit. So when he told me that this is what he needed to pack and he didn't trust the military movers to do it, I was like, what?
They're really bad at moving things.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck? Hey, Matt Woods. So here's I'm trying to compare to him. We packed almost 100. We wrapped them first,
Mm-hmm.
of course. We wrapped them first, and then we had to lug them into a rental vehicle, a rental truck.
Yeah, it was a U-Haul basically.
We lugged all of those. There were stairs.
Because the problem was in the I couldn't get like just a truck and then stack them all up really high because I was afraid they'd like fall over or like they would crush down.
Yeah.
So they had to be big enough to like do like one stack high, and that was it.
Yeah. So, yeah, carry them down the stairs. Of course, he didn't live in a normal house. We just walk outside, and that's it. You know, get a walk down and around the corner.
It was an apartment complex. That's
Yeah.
what it was. It just my apartment had 2 stories to it.
So I'm like dying, but I powered through it. So he did feed me snacks and drinks and stuff like that. So I was happy. But we were like so toast. And of course, you know, when we got all these comics to the storage place, of course the shelving wasn't built. You know.
Yeah, that's right. We had
Nothing was done.
We had to build the shelves in there and then put comic boxes in there, and then basically build the next shelf and then put comic boxes in there.
But he was so embarrassed that
it was just so much work.
Yeah, he was so embarrassed that when he didn't mention the racks until we got there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we got to build these." So once we got there with all the comics, the first trip we built the racks, and that took a long time because I'm pretty sure I remember him. Yeah, he was holding me up. We built the bottom racks, and then he was like holding me up so I could like hammer down the top racks, and like we went all the way to the ceiling. And there was one point where I was holding him up because I wasn't strong enough to get some of the things down to like hammer the sides. So I was like holding him up against this rack. He's like twice my size. He was he was so embarrassed. I think that sealed the deal kind of a little bit.
Did it?
I feel like
I like a normal guy would have been like, all right, I'm never seeing this girl again in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So like if a guy gets like humiliated around a girl, he doesn't want to be around her anymore because he doesn't want to have to relive that or hear that story or whatever. Or hear that story.
You asked me. This is a part of my origin story.
Okay. Moving on.
So anyways, that was the first trip. I think we took like 3 trips. It was a lot of work. We were both like tired, sweaty, stinky. It was the middle of the night when we got done, and we started like first thing in the morning. We actually like got like super early to do it, and so that's when I thought like, holy smokes, like comics must be like super cool if someone's gonna spend all this money, time, organizing, and dedicate like actually have a big apartment so that they can house comic books.
Yep.
Like I can only imagine it's been paying like $400 a month extra in rent.
It was probably something like that. Worth it.
So, anyways, needless to say, that's where comics like started to pique my interest. And then while he was away for a year, you know, you run into things to talk about. So once we started running out of things to talk about, we started talking about comics a lot, like a lot. Yeah, and he started teaching me about stuff. I started taking notes and.
But
This one?
Yeah. She was basically like taking like full like page notes of our conversations about like comics, how to grade and like how to buy and like what storylines were and like every topic.
Everything.
It was like she was a complete clean slate on comic books, and then from the ground up she became.
He taught me about variants and like what the numbers meant for grading. And, yeah. Everything that someone would know about comics, everything I know pretty much about comics, I learned while he was gone.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
The first and the second time, the third time too. We've been gone 3 times.
What?
Yeah.
No way. What you talking about just now?
Oh yeah, if you count that. 3 times. 2 long times and then 1 short times.
Yeah, this is getting shorter.
Yeah, for sure. So I started getting like super into comics, and then when he like between while he was gone for a year, he got to come home for a short period of time. And while he came home, he took me to his favorite comic book shop, and we went in and he got there was a husband and wife owner, and he got her and was like, take her around the store and get her whatever she wants that piques her interest that she likes. And so I was like, she took me to the comics at first, and I was like, I don't know, like I'm super nervous about reading comics, and sometimes I do get a little nervous about reading raw comics just because I like to relax with a book, and I can't relax the same.
Because you're worried like the whole time you're.
I feel like I'll get too into it, and then I start holding it wrong.
Yeah.
So I still read a lot of trade paperbacks. So I remember she's taking me around the store, and I like picked up one of the trade paperbacks, and I was like, oh my gosh, but this is $20. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, that's okay.
She had a stack at the counter.
Yeah, because he was like, get them all.
My checking account was like.
I was gonna narrow them down, and
I had to act like I was following you.
Why? I didn't know that. I was like gonna narrow them down
guys
to a couple.
Front, guys front a little bit.
I suppose. I was gonna get a few, and he's like, just get them all, because you never know.
That is true though, because it wasn't all just like me fronting. It was legit like, because it would be so bad if you read like just one of them, and then it was like, okay, I judge all comics off this one, and I'm not gonna like comics. But if you get a whole bunch of different ones, and you're like, oh, I don't like this one, you put it down, you pick up another one, and maybe one of them sticks.
I loved Saga, and that's what really hooked me into comics. And then I liked Bitch Planet. I liked that one.
You can't say that.
And then I liked
Careful with the cussings.
Well, I didn't cuss. I was saying a title. So And then I started reading like way into Spidey. So the Spidey that I got was like a new-ish, like part of the newer series where it was actually Doc Ock. And I was super
Superior
confused.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I started reading that because that was one of the trades I got. I was super confused, but I liked it.
That's such a good story.
Yeah. So, but mainly it was Saga that like really hooked me into it, and then that was history.
Mm-hmm.
What is each of your favorite comics to read?
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Yeah. Oh, let me change my answer.
Shut up. But you're verbalizing your answer.
No, I wrote one down.
All right, but that was my origin story. That was like amazing.
Yeah. So mine is gonna be a little bit shorter than that because. So I read comics as a kid. I never took care of them ever. I think they're actually still at my mom's in a tote that you'd probably keep like winter coats in. It's pretty bad, and I haven't been there for so long.
You can't cringe at yourself.
Yeah. Well, they're probably also in her attic, even though they're from like 1992. Anyways, so I used to read comics a lot because I would get grounded a lot, and the only thing I was allowed to do, since I can't watch TV or play video games or go see friends, was like, okay, well, like I can only play with pennies for so long, and that's a true story. I used to play with pennies. Like I used to play war games with like
pennies and nickels. Because you turned out okay.
Yeah, she's a pretty good mom. Anyway, so I used to read comics a lot, and one of the comics in the back had the subscription card. I don't think I cut it out. I'm pretty sure I didn't cut it out. And I wrote to DC Comics, and I was like, basically filled this card out. I was like, hey, I want to subscribe to all the Superman titles for like $60. I remember exactly because it was such a big deal to get $60 from my parents because I had to have them write me a check. And so I submitted it in the mail, and I started getting all the storylines like Man of Steel, Superman, and Action Comics, and I think there's one more. And so I got all of that together, and I started reading the Doomsday storyline. Started coming in the mail, and it like blew my mind. Like it was crazy, crazy. Yeah, because it was like the Justice League or whatever is fighting this guy, this alien. Right, comes down. I don't know how much you know about Doomsday.
No.
Okay, so he comes down basically. And then fighting the whole like Justice League of America or whatever. They're not Big Banger type kind of people. It's like Guy Gardner and like Blue Beetle or something like that, and like Maximum, whatever, like 5 characters. And his suit that Doomsday wears, like one of his arms is like stuck behind his back in like a straight jacket style suit, and he is just demolishing these guys. He's just demolishing these guys with one hand, right? And I don't remember what's going on with Superman, why he wasn't there in like an instant, but it took him forever to get there. By the time he gets there, just there are like knocked out. Like Guy Gardner, his eyes are all puffy and he can't see anything. Like one dude's like literally like holding his fist out like this so he can aim and shoot his little Guy Gardner ring at him. And like Superman is like using his laser vision and stuff, and eventually the other guys all fall out, and it's just like a big battle between those two. And eventually it's like a Rocky punch where he punches Apollo Creed, Apollo Creed, and they both like, or you think they're gonna get knocked out. It ends in that movie, but anyways, they both get knocked out basically, and Superman dies, and it was like nuts. Anyways, that got me into comics, and I read things like Lethal Protector, and all those kind of things. I didn't read a whole lot. Like honestly, I think I bought like a tote of comics from this one kid down the street, and my parents were like, "You probably paid too much." It was like $20. I got like a long box of comics, and I was reading like Sergeant Rock and all these war stories and a bunch of weird, different Unknown Soldier. Oh, I love Unknown Soldier. Anyways, so then I grew up. I joined the military and then bounced around a little bit, and I was like, all right, dude, I want to get back into comics. So I go to the comic store in town across the street from Walmart, and I was like, hey, dude, like I want to get back into comics. Spider-Man is my fave because I used to watch, obviously Spider-Man as a kid. So I go in there and I was like, hey, where do I start? Because I don't know where to start. And he's like, oh, like a few months ago, Brand New Day just started, which is where they like basically like soft rebooted Spider-Man story. And I was like, all right, cool. So I get some trade paperbacks, I read up to current, and then I just start reading. But he keeps mentioning, because in the comics they're like, oh, this thing happened in like a little blurb at the bottom, like, oh, go read Spider-Man like 520. And I'm like, oh, I don't have 520. So I get on eBay and I was like, hey, find me all of Spider-Man. And so I get this huge thing. I get like 6 boxes that were like maybe this big, a little bit longer than a short box, a little bit shorter than a long box. All Spider-Man. It was 22 through 200. There was like 100 comics between 22 and 200, and then there was everything from 201 through current. So then I was like, all right, let me go back to read Civil War, which was in like 520s. So I started like 500. I worked my way to Civil War, and then I was like, wait, they keep referencing all these things that happen in these other comics. So then I researched and I got the whole Civil War tie-ins, and I read through that, and then I continued my Spider-Man run all the way to 800, I think.
Nice.
And then I PCS'd. That's all I had was like a few short boxes, a few long boxes, and I was buying like new comic book day stuff, and it was pretty cool. What? What?
Nothing.
All right. Anyways, so that PCS, I only got a few comics, and I'm going to New Comic Book Day, and the local comic book shop shuts down because the guy just opened up shop maybe like 3 months before that. He had bought out some other guy who like retired from the local shop, and he did not know how to order comics, so he was like, whatever comic came out, he ordered like 60 of them, and like 5 sold. And that was like a common habit for this guy. And so he ran the business into the ground really fast. I just walked in one day and like half the shelves were gone. There was a giant cluster of comics in the back, and he was like, hey, man, yeah, I need to sell everything because my rent's due. And if I don't have that money, I'm going to basically be kicked out of my place. So I was like, I have $2,000 I can give you. That's all I had was like all my savings. So he was like, okay, you can have all of that for $2,000. And I was like, sweet. So I got my Xterra, loaded it up, like brim, like all the whole bag. I took the back seats out and I loaded it up. I had a rack on top. I loaded that thing up, put my net on it, and drove home. Just like everything that she saw in her origin story is what I got from that shop. And then when I got back from Korea and we decided to start not just selling on eBay to fund my comic hobby for New Comic Day, we basically used all of that stuff that we bought to help generate funds at the initial start, and it really helped out. We were just cherry picking all those comics to get some funds moving. Anyways, that's our 25-minute spiel about us.
I still feel like my origin story was 3 minutes and 32 seconds. This interjected.
Whatever. Whatever. Oh, so I was thinking this one. What's your comic book superpower? Not like
wait, it's a sorry.
Not like flying or running, but like legit in the real world in comic books. What do you think you're best at?
You already answered this one.
No. So I'll give you an example. I put down that you are your superpower from my point of view is great. Like I can literally just hand her a book and she'll like basically grade it on the spot. She's like, that's obviously a 4.5, dummy. You see this big old like crescent moon shaped thing here.
We'll be at cons and like he'll be like, baby, look what I found. And I like instantly see like 10 pages are ripped out, for example. I'm like, but you don't want to like be like, oh my gosh, that's the worst copy I've ever seen because you're like at somebody's booth, right? Or like right in front of the house. And then it's like,
anyway, with that in mind, what do you think yours is from your perspective?
Hey, thanks. Something wrong. Oh, something's wrong. That's awesome.
He's on our Instagram.
Yeah, I recognize something. The profile.
Mm-hmm.
That's this one was like rating. I'd probably say grading, but
grading
that definitely came with a lot of practice.
A ton of work went into her grading.
Yeah.
Because remember, based on the origin story, she started from zero knowledge, level 0.
I researched grading comics for probably 2 years before I even graded them.
It was a long time. Yeah.
I went through hundreds of graded comics, just like studying them before I even graded a comic. So I feel like, and then once I actually started grading them, it was taking me a while at first.
Yeah.
Like I'd be sitting down with one comic for like I remember the first sale we ever had. I graded comics for probably 6 to 8 hours every day for like 2 months for like our first sale. That's how long it was taking me, but I probably graded, oh my gosh, probably over 10,000 comics.
Yeah. No, to clarify, Matt Woods, it was not a stack of old comics. It was mostly like dealer backstock. I think we have like 16 Chewbacca number 2s, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a bunch of like really good stuff, like a lot of like individual issues that was also like part of that guy's PC, but like there was no real grails or anything like that. They were like the most expensive comics on average would have been like $20, $30, something like that. But it was mostly backstock though.
Oh, what's your favorite big comic book event?
My favorite big Civil War, hands down.
Mine's probably the reveal of Omega Red. Oh, that's so cool. What whole comic is this one?
Yeah.
So. And of course, the launch of the new X-Men team and Giant Size X-Men one. However, I've held a Giant Size X-Men one and gone through it, but I haven't like actually like read an original X-Men Giant Size X-Men. My superpower in the comic world, like you said, is grading.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to say grading and hunting.
She's an excellent hunter. I don't know how, because I'm not good at remembering issue numbers. Like Action Comics 522 is like a really good one to go look. I don't know. But Sam does. Sam's like, oh no, you need to find X-Men 122 or whatever. Is that a thing? Okay, yeah, I don't know.
X-Men 129.
But if you show me the comic cover, I'll be like, that's the thing right there. Most of the time. Maybe not on like X-Men. I'm not super big on X-Men. But women are smarter, something one says. I don't know. They have different brains than me. I know that.
Did you even ask if something long was a woman or a man?
Doesn't matter to me. He's probably right. Or she's probably right.
No, because earlier you said man.
Oh. I think I say generally hey man to everybody. No disrespect if you take it that way. No. Yeah, you're a really good hunter. I'm not super great at hunting. I just like, oh, let me go look at my favorite characters, like Ghost Rider and Spider-Man. What am I good at? I think I'm good at researching things. If I need to research something, I will research it to death.
Yeah, but in the comic book, like
including comics. Like if I needed to research something, I would research it super hard. Yeah. So like for instance, we're gonna go to a Comic-Con, right? And I'm like, okay, well there's a ton of work that needs to go into prepping for this Comic-Con, and one of them is going to be, let me go look at the guest list and see who these obscure guest list people are, and then go look at what comics they've done to see if it's anything I'm really interested in getting like their signature on. That takes a little bit of time and like a little bit of work to go digging for sometimes.
Yeah.
I think I'm also pretty good at remembering storylines. I haven't read every storyline, but I know a decent amount of like what happens in the history of comics. Not so much in the history of Marvel comics, anyways.
Yeah.
So that'd be mine. So
what's next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda, which is questions to move the storyline. What do you love about comics? Not necessarily the stories, not necessarily the art.
Wait, you said questions to move the storyline?
This is just what I titled it.
Oh.
What do you love about comics? Could be the genre, it could be literally anything that has to be centered around comics.
My favorite what?
What do you love about comics?
I love that they are like can take you to like a whole different world on the inside, but the cover also it's like a two-in-one because I already love art like a lot. And I also love writing. I haven't written anything super fun, but I love how there's just so many different stories, and there's just something for everybody. You know, there's so much out there. All right, favorite writers and artists. That's tough. I would say modern day. Modern day would be Donny Cates as a writer, Russell Dodderman as an artist. Now, if we're talking OG, old school, I would say Chris Claremont for sure. Jim Lee is like old school and new school. Well, old school-ish.
Okay, my favorite artist is probably Del Otto, especially his like earlier Spider-Man work were just incredible. They just look so good, in my opinion. Like one of my favorite ones is that Venom one where he's kind of like a little bit wet, kind of looks like Aliens a little bit, and it's just
a little bit wet.
Like his skin, like the symbiote skin, looks like a little bit wet. Like it's very shiny. It's not matte black, you know, like most Venom covers are. Anyway, I love Del Otto. Favorite writer / artist is going to be Stan Sakai. He is so incredible as a storyteller. He does, if you don't know, he does Usagi Yojimbo. He is just like super good. And he's a really nice guy. You know, what are you looking at? Oh, you're looking. Who did that?
What was I saying?
You were talking about favorite writers and artists.
It's been a long day. It's been a long
Anyways,
week anyway.
So that's my favorite artist.
Oh yeah, who's my favorite artist? Oh yeah, I answered my mom.
Yeah.
Solomon and artist. Also, I really like Jim Lee a lot. And then old school would be Chris Claremont and Stranko.
Stranko is really good. I think I like Kirby, like old. I like Kirby. I like his like the big fists, his big action. His really cool. Everything on his action stuff is always like kind of just a little bit bigger than everything else, and it's really cool. Maybe showing my age, Frank Miller. Frank Miller's really cool. He's really good, especially. I'm not so much on his art so much. I know Sam does not like Frank Miller art. He does that.
He does. Well, what I like. What I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, Del Otto is.
Yeah. So for me, what do I love about comics?
Oh, is this on our question?
Yeah, no. This is I'll get to the newlywed game.
Oh.
As I call it later.
I do like Del Otto over Ross. I like Del Otto because he's very dark.
Ross is obviously fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, but I like Del Otto's a little bit darker for me. Anyways, what do you love about comics? You answered. What do I love about comics? I love that we share our life in comics. That's something I never thought I would have with somebody, and I know that is something that, like, if you were to talk through like the comic. I'm always about to cry.
Oh, you're getting emotional.
This is an emotional topic, Sam.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I know, like, if you ask like other comic people in the comic community, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're like so lucky that you have someone that you can share this with." So that would be why I love comic books.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. I've rarely seen you cry before.
I don't cry.
Aw.
Anyways, what was your first storyline you fell in love with?
Well, hang on, we got a question from the crowd.
Oh, what do we have?
Where do you see your business in 5 years? I've watched you both in IG for a while, and you both have great chemistry with the community. You could take Skeleton Crew beyond where it is now. Aww. Well, in 5 years,
What?
you're all teary and red.
I'm hot because Sam keeps this house
It's hot.
so hot.
It's hot in here.
She'll be like, I'll come home and it'll be like 77 in the house. And I'm like, I walk into this Middle Eastern desert of a house. And I'm like, what is going on? There's one time it was so hot here, we could not get the temperature back down.
It's because
to
the
go to
AC
sleep.
unit broke.
I don't care. She broke the AC unit.
Anyways, where do we see our business in 5 years? He will be retired. So
I'll be retired in a few years, in a couple
2.5
years.
yeah.
So what we want in 2.5 years is to be somewhere along the lines that I don't have to go back to work, where I can devote all of my time to this. We've already replaced Sam's income.
Thanks, comic book therapy.
So now this is what she does all of the time, and which has been like an absolute boon to us, that she's been able to devote so much time to this. It's been great, and we can't imagine like what another influx of that many hours of somebody like dedicated to Skeleton Key Comics would do for us. So in 5 years, we're really hoping to obviously in 5 years, I really hope YouTube is successful. I'm hoping that in like 5 years we're not selling on Instagram anymore, and that we use it more of a community. Like it's just going to be like in my opinion, I don't know.
Well, I would change. He doesn't mean it like that. He means like we're not going to be selling like that on Instagram.
That's what I
So
said.
we'd still be. Oh, you did say that? Oh, I thought you said we won't be using Instagram.
No. I said we wouldn't sell on Instagram. In
gotcha.
5 years, I hope we're not selling on Instagram, and that we just use it for the community engagement and that, because I really enjoy.
Yeah, we love going live.
Hitting people up, and talking to people. I don't get to do it as often, but I do like to do it.
We love hanging out on Instagram, and it would be nice if we, But for him, it's like one of those things where like I just hustle as hard as I can and just look at the end of the road of like 2.5 years, because 2.5 years from now, it's just gonna be one of two things. Like we did super well with the shop and Tony can retire from the military, or he's gonna hit his 20 years and sign back on another door.
We do have an option, which so the military, at least the Air Force, I don't know, I assume others, but anyways, we don't sign back up for X number of years anymore. Once you hit a certain point, you're just in until you say you're not in. So I would re-enlist, and like I would just be in until I either hit higher tenure or I decide to quit.
I'd rather you be in. Yeah.
Well, obviously.
I love our country,
but the point is, like, I have to re-enlist at 19, right? Because that's when my term is over. So I have to get to at least 20. And then if we're not at where we're at, then I'll probably stick it out for like an extra year. And then if we're hopefully where we're at, where we need to be, and then I can get in. That's my plan. Yeah. The problem is, like, you're really rolling the dice on those deployments,
It's the worst luck ever.
Yeah.
You've been deployed TBY and whatever more than I've ever heard anybody ever.
Yeah, everyone at work's been gone either 0 times, 1 time, maybe 2 times.
Yeah, we haven't even been together. We haven't even been physically together in each other's presence for more than 50%.
I think you've hit 50%.
I don't know if we hit 50%.
Maybe you're right. I don't think we have.
I don't think we've hit 50% at all. Not even close. Yeah. I think we just hit like being around each other in person for like 10 solid months or something crazy.
Sam was getting so emotional at the beginning of the year because she'd be like, "Oh my God, you know what today is? It's March 3rd. This is the first March 3rd we've been together ever
in person."
And then the next day, she's
That's a
like,
big deal.
"It's March 4th. This is the first March 4th we've ever been together."
But it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think there's another question. Do you guys want to do exclusive variants? I, hands down, want to do exclusive variants so bad, but I also want to do it right, and that it takes a lot of money to do exclusive variants from what my research that I've done, and we don't have that kind of money to do it. If we get someone to help sponsor that situation, then we'll probably go down that route. But yeah, I really, really want to do it.
And for him, we're very different when it comes to what we buy and what we collect. So.
Yeah, that's true.
He's variant man, and I'm like, give me all that letting.
Comic book therapy. Thank you, sir. All right, next one. What do you love about the comic community?
Ooh. I know, I'm trying to think of a word other than everything. I love that everybody's so different and close-knit, and everyone like really has each other's back and notices things. You know what I mean?
So I feel two
I just feel that
different ways about it.
Emotional connection with everybody, you know? Mm-hmm. And I love that, like, even though we really know, the biggest thing that we all know about each other is all comic book related, but I feel like that really tells a lot. Is what her favorite character is, or what like storyline they relate to. Mm-hmm. I feel like that really tells a lot about like their childhood, how they grow up, and how they are like as.
Oh yeah, you learn like people in the community are so open about some really traumatic and very deep issues. If they feel, I don't know if they do it with everybody, but if they feel, I assume they feel that they can trust us and they can open up to us sometimes, and they do, and it's humbling, you know, for sure. And I'm glad I can be there for somebody, you know, when you're with it. So, but yeah, so for me in the comic community, the way I feel is two ways. One, I hear a lot of stories. Sammy's on social media way more than I am because I have to go to work, and where I work, I don't get to use my phone often. And so she's on it way more. Plus, she has a business that she runs with Instagram. So for me, she tells a lot of stories about what's going on Instagram, and I definitely feel like the meme from I think his name is Ralph from Simpsons, when he's sitting on the bus or something, and there's like flames all around him, and he's like, "I'm in danger," because I don't know what's going on ever, and I don't know, because there's people you can 100% trust with like your life, and there's people that smile at you and you can't trust them. You don't, I don't know who they are, so I just like I give everyone yes, Ralph, thank you. Give everyone basically the benefit of the doubt, and you know, so, but it's a little scary as well to put yourself out there like that. No, I do enjoy the comic community and connecting with people, so I don't care. I don't care if they have their knife in my back or not. I love you. You know?
Is lying. Or some.
All right. So, what is your favorite way to acquire comics for your PC?
Hunting in person. Now, I have different categories.
LCS or Comic Cons?
Well, for me, when it comes to my 90s gimmick covers, I have to find them in person. There's something so unsatisfying to me to find like my Dollar Bin 90s book online. It doesn't feel the same. You don't like see that shiny, because you don't know if you're in love with it until you hold it. Like, I know that I love all the 90s gimmick books. I will take them all in, right? But there's nothing more exciting than like rifling through and you're like, oh, and then I'll be in the shop and I'm like, look how shiny.
I do that all the time.
Like
I'll pull out some silly like 25-cent comic that they have for sale for $3, and I'm like, look, and I just go like this, you know, and it's shining through. She's like, float. Ooh, and I just put it down on the side, and I'm like, okay, here's your Brigadier 6, you know, or whatever it is. Oh, thanks, comic book therapy.
But yeah, so my 90s gimmick covers, I get them in person. pretty much almost exclusively, unless someone from like one of our friends is like selling it or something. I think I bought a 90s Gimmick cover on an Instagram sale from a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just one time. I have to find them out in the wild, and every single one I find I buy.
I think so far I've had, I've bought a lot of my PC online. I've bought a lot in person. I've found a lot in the random comics we have upstairs. But there's been one, like at least one in my PC that I acquired from someone in the comic community. And I basically put a feeler out there and was like, hey, man, I like this comic. And someone hit me back and they said, I have that. And they also put in some extras for me and it was super nice. And I think that was so far my favorite. Like, it gave me the best feeling that someone was like, this comic is so awesome and you want it and here you go. Versus I go to a store and I was like, here's cash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would say also, like, it's really hard to find grails out in the wild too, because a lot of the shops around here have wait lists. A lot of shops around here have wait lists. So, like, I don't think, like, in the state I will find, like, a grail.
Yeah, because like the stores, like they're loyal to their big customers that come in, and they're like, hey, if you get an Action Comics one in low grade, like, hit me up. And I will hit you up first because I know you got monies, and we're gonna come in here and you already spent a lot of money. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna find that book in the counter.
Yeah. So, but at cons is where I've found some grail books in the wild, but we get them mostly from the comic family on Instagram. I know I got X-Men 94 from Rage Online, FF48 got from Local Online. I got Silver Surfer 1 online. What is your number one grail you were hunting for?
Mine is pretty well known on Instagram, at least. I am hunting for Albedo number 2. A year and a half ago, we got in a little bit of trouble, and I had to sell my Albedo 2.
Not like trouble like we got arrested, but like
financial trouble. Anyways, we got ourselves out of that pit because I had that book, and the book had spiked for like $7K or something like that. So I traded to this dude in California. It was a 9.4. I'm pretty sure it's on eBay.
He's still trying to sell it.
Yeah.
He's had it for sale since like a week later, and he's still trying to sell it. So.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a 9.4 Albedo number 2, and he traded me our Hulk 181 and like $3,000 in cash. So at least we got a 181 out of it, which also went up in price. So it's not hasn't been real for us, but really it's so much easier to find a 181 than it is to find an Albedo 2. It's such a high grade. So
yeah, it's gonna be rough.
What's your number one grade?
I think most people would think I'd say Giant Size X-Men 1, isn't it?
What is it?
It's Doctor Strange 169.
So this is a little known secret. Sam really loves Doctor Strange 169, the one where it kind of looks like an homage to
That's like my
to Hulk number 1, with the gray Hulk behind Bruce Banner situation. It's very, very cool, very underrated, very underappreciated, and Sam doesn't tell anyone about it because she doesn't want.
I can't even.
She doesn't want. She doesn't want it to go to the moon before she gets it.
Well, it's not that. Like, I can hardly handle talking.
Really? All right, here. Let's find it. That's the next book we find. Let's do it.
Where did you find that?
What?
Well, that book is like super emotional.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
But you know what? I will say, I don't have any. I've seen Doctor Strange the first appearance, and I've held it, and
it doesn't give you anything.
I feel nothing.
The cover is not that good,
and it's because like this book is like an emotional attachment to me. It needs to be like a wall piece. You know what I mean? With like all these like really cool Doctor Strange covers around it on the wall. I don't want like Human Torch flying on the building on my wall. I'm serious. As an emotional collector, I feel like Doctor Strange 169, his first appearance, is like his solo series, and that cover is amazing. That is it for me. Favorite late night munchie. Ooh, that's hard because it really depends on what I'm craving. So if I'm craving like sweet, then I want it to be like ice cream. But if I'm craving like salty, then I want it to be popcorn.
My favorite late night munchie is the greatest munchie of all time. I don't eat it very often because it goes straight to my hips, but it is Jet Puff marshmallow on top of like a sandwich of Ritz crackers. And my grandma used to make it for me, so don't say anything bad about my grandma. Anyway, she used to make it for me as a little kid, and it is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. So
I'm just laughing because, all right, this was during the same time frame that we packed all these comics, and we're about to watch a movie. I'm pretty sure it was Logan. We're about to watch a movie. He gets Jet Puff.
Ooh, are we watching Logan tonight?
Probably. Yeah. So he gets Jet Puff out and crackers, and at the time I didn't have celiac disease yet, so I could actually like eat crackers. I should have ate more.
Yeah.
But anyways, he gets out these, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" You know, I had never heard of putting Jet Puff on a Ritz cracker.
I've never heard of anyone doing that
ever in my life. And so he makes us both a plate with
sandwiches.
with the Ritz crackers with this thing on it. And while he's making it, I'm like, "Well, I'll be right back. Let me do my hair," because I had just like got done showering and stuff. So I went and did my hair probably for like, I don't know, like 5 minutes. Like, no exaggeration. And I come out to the couch, and he looks at me, and I look at his plate. It's empty. And I was like, "You didn't make yourself any?" His face was so red and embarrassed. He was like, "They were too good. I couldn't." Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember at all.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh,
funny.
it was so funny. It's actually super, super good, and I wish I could eat them again.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
You got your cards?
Ooh, is this how well do you know your spouse?
This is, we decided to do basically the newlywed game together. We have already answered a lot of these questions around each other. So it's like, how well did you pay attention, basically?
So basically, when we answer the question, my answer would be on my card, essentially.
No. Well, I ask you the question, you answer it verbally, and it's going to be written on my card.
Right, but I'm saying the same thing except for you.
All right, cool. So, question number 1 is, who is my favorite comic book character? Spider-Man.
That was tough because you don't even desire Spider-Man.
I have almost all Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's hands down my favorite character.
I would have said Spider-Man, but you've always like really been really
Yeah, it's because that's a tough one.
That is
it is a really tough one, but
you bamboozled me.
I didn't bamboozle. Definitely Spider-Man is my favorite character. I love Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah. You know what?
The thing is I can relate to Spider-Man so much. Yeah. So, like on an emotional level. So I really enjoy that. Did you write Spider-Man?
No, I wrote the answer to mine.
Oh, you did?
That's what you're supposed to do. What did you write down?
I wrote your answers. All right. Anyways, so what's yours?
You would have guessed who my favorite superhero is.
I put Silver Surfer.
It's Storm.
Boo!
So I'm for someone in the military is really bad with instructions and directions, which is terrifying.
Oh, thanks, Cubes.
All right, so when I say like what the next question is, I wrote my answer from my brain, what I like.
I wrote
what I thought. You're supposed to write what's coming from your brain on your paper. No. We discussed. Hold on. We discussed this. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. We discussed this beforehand, and we came to the conclusion because this is what makes sense, right? I asked the question. You verbally state your answer, and I verify that with this. Sure. So
because otherwise, you could just change.
We'll only play.
All right, fine. What is your first storyline you fell in love with?
Saga.
Also Saga. Do you have a minus?
Doomsday.
Doomsday.
That's
100%
it.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Tied. All right. If you can be any superhero, who would you be?
I've said this a lot around you, but I don't think
Crap! I don't know. I had a guess. This one was a hard one.
The Watcher.
Storm. He's the Watcher? I don't think
The
I've ever heard
Watcher,
you say that in my life.
Whenever we were asked
Who's
that in
mine?
interviews, I would say The Watcher.
Who's mine?
If you could be anybody,
Uh-huh.
you always like Wolverine dressing up like animals.
Yeah. I probably would have said Spider-Man, but now that you said Wolverine, it probably is actually Wolverine.
You would have bamboozled me.
No, and I think it is Wolverine, so that would have been my answer.
The Watcher. I would be the Watcher all day long. He was all knowing. He knows everything.
He doesn't do anything though. He's just gets to watch. And then he's supposed to he's not allowed to intervene. He only intervenes in one storyline. What do we got here?
Hey guys, gotta head to bed for you. Oh wow, it's super late.
Where are you at, Therapy?
Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, buddy.
It's okay. You don't have to tell us where you live. It's a bit invasive.
I meant what country. What is your favorite comic in your PC?
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine and the X-Men 24.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Just outside Toronto. Oh wait, you say it's 4 a.m.? Oh, you have to get up at 4 a.m. My bad. I thought you were saying it's 4 a.m. now.
Yeah, I was just taking your word for it. He said it wrong.
Well, he did say Canada earlier, but sorry.
All right, what was the last one?
That was the last one. What's my favorite comic in my PC?
It should be.
I just pulled this one out and said it was my favorite. So.
Yeah, but your favorite book just changed.
That's my favorite book.
Amazing Spider-Man to the Beacon.
There you go. High five. You win.
It literally changes
it did
all
not.
the time.
That's what happens. PC books.
His favorite PC book changes like his underwear daily.
Whatever.
It depends on what mood he's in. It's okay.
There. That's what you win.
A lunch date to Starbucks.
Oh, I forgot to finish it. Where we talk about emotional things.
Oh, where we talk about emotional
I got sidetracked with something else.
When are we doing this?
When are you free? It's your date. Are you? You're not working here, right?
Yeah.
For a lunch date?
You can get out of work. You can just leave.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can?
Mm-hmm. What?
Thank you. Lunch date to
okay.
Starbucks. We're just talking about emotional things.
Worst comic book. Oh, jeez. Worst one ever. I don't know. Is there one? Oh, worst comic book purchase ever. We got on OfferUp, and it was super rainy outside, and this dude had an F-ton of comics, which is
I wasn't here.
Yeah, she wasn't there to verify things for me, and I don't have control, and I don't like confrontation. So it was not a good spot for me. So I paid $1,700 for a bunch of books that are probably worth $50 total. We did key it out a little bit, and we probably grabbed maybe 30 comics out of it, and it's an entire hallway of comics.
Yeah, and I came home after a work trip to all this junk, basically.
Yeah. Still painful.
There's been a couple times. Tony likes modern books a lot. I know I'm going to super big detail because I don't want to discourage him from buying modern books.
You will not discourage me from buying modern books.
There's been many times where he's bought modern books. And, I tried to take, people's word for gold, He bought them, as they say, minty.
Minty fresh.
Minty. These books are minty, right?
I do take people for their words. If they tell me, hey, this is a guaranteed 9.4 or guaranteed 9.8.
That's a really good thing. Because you should, not sue everyone because somebody's many people, screws their own purchase. But there's been many times where he's bought modern books that are supposed to be minty, and they're worth cover price because they're so banged up. Yeah,
and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't paid thousands for them, but hundreds. Yeah. All right, it is now time for the comic book giveaway.
Yay.
So we asked people on Instagram because that's where our following is. Obviously, we couldn't ask people on YouTube to come over to YouTube and subscribe. And so I got my little handy dandy bowl here. I've got everybody's names in this little thing. Do you collect for profit or storyline and art? Get Swifty. I know your name's in there. I saw it. I even put the brackets on there. Do you collect for profit or art or storyline?
I definitely collect for art, storyline. I feel like the art and storyline for me is combined because like I really love Storenko, but I'm not gonna go out and buy every single Storenko cover in existence, but I will buy all of the Storenko X-Men. The ones for profit, I would say it's hard to say with the boys PC. So we also collect for them, but when they get older, we're gonna, help them decide if they want to keep them long term or if they feel like it would be better to, I don't know, how comics are going up 20 years from now. Can you just check on my armpit again? My armpit's so short. He always checks on my armpit. Like, why can't you just up and down me as a woman? You just have to her armpits are shaved.
Anyway, here, let me get this thing.
Anyways, with the boys, it could either be profit or actual collecting. So we're not sure what they're gonna want to do with her. You see when they get older.
They can see this. It is Billy Pruitt. Billy Pruitt.
Congrats.
There we go. I misspelled his name, the first name.
It's super great anyways. I think it's camera.
No.
Well, Billy Pruitt, it says it for real. What does that say?
Most sentimental book you own. Most sentimental book she owns is gonna be her favorite.
Yeah.
Hands down. I don't think I have a really sentimental one.
Right now, the one in the house, the most sentimental book in the house, is probably Wolverine and the X-Men 24.
Yeah.
Because that traveled between us a lot.
So, it is right here. I pulled all the comics I thought your answer was going to be. So this is the X-Men. So this is basically signifies me because, Wolverine's one of my faves, and then it's her, which is Storm, which is one of her faves. I pulled out Silver Surfer because I thought her favorite was going to be Silver Surfer. I know her favorite is Storm, but I didn't say Silver Surfer.
We did AMA also on Instagram.
This is the actual first comic she read, this exact one. So I pulled that down.
Oh,
yeah, this was the Storm one. This goes in the dark as well. What else have we got in here? Oh, this was my favorite storyline I pulled down. No big deal.
So we got asked some questions off of Instagram. Best sushi you've ever had? Ooh.
Best sushi I ever had.
That's hard because I lived in Okinawa for 3 years.
We lived in Okinawa at separate times.
10 years apart.
10 years apart.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
That's also the best sushi I ever had was there because I don't eat sushi. So, but my Japanese friends forced me to eat it.
Yeah. No, but best sushi I ever had was in Okinawa. And I don't remember what it was because their sushi there is different than it is in the States.
I don't think I like sushi. I like sashimi. Sashimi's pretty good.
Sashimi.
I don't think I like because I don't like the seaweed little wrap thing.
Yeah, you can get it without the seaweed.
I don't know. I just know I don't like it.
When we went to Korea, that sushi was super good.
Oh my god, what I like is that there's this soy sauce dip thing at the Korean barbecue places, and I could eat that so much. It is so good.
Makes me like kimchi.
Scooby says, lucky. I love both sushi and sashimi.
Oh, yeah, he does. I remember he posted him and his wife having sushi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We don't eat sushi that often.
You should take notes.
I'm not taking notes.
That's why he asked that from me. Like, take a hint. That's what he's trying to say. By asking best sushi you've ever had, he's like, bro, take your lady out the sushi.
Take your lady to the sushi place.
No, I'm kidding. All right, one book you wish you never got rid of.
Mine's obviously I'll Be There Too. I already
It's
told
tough
it.
though. Like, could we have not? Could we have? I don't know if we could have really done it any other way because it was a financial thing.
Yeah. I mean, we
it's
could
for
have.
the family, so
It just
it's
was
like,
the biggest book, and I had bought it for like $2,000, and it had remained like I think I bought it for like 18. No, I bought it for 2,000. It was worth at the time 1,800 fair market, and it had just ballooned in price to 7,000 for. I don't know why at the time. So I was like, okay, I don't want this thing to just like immediately sink back down to 2,000. So that was why we chose that book.
What Scooby asked, what Marvel character do you want to see get their own Disney series?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would like to see Riri.
Riri is getting her own.
Well, right, but like it's taking time.
So for me, I would like to see a Disney Plus Champions. I think would be really cool. The kids, you know, I think it'd be a really good Disney Plus storyline that they could do with all those like really cool characters.
Favorite writer and what do you wish would write next?
That's a good question.
Chris Claremont already does X-Men, so I'm gonna try to be a little creative here. Maybe Donny Cates with X-Men. Donny Cates X-Men with the rest of Bottom and Color. That sounds like a modern mashup you don't want to be a part of.
I don't think it's being under talked about, to be honest. That none of the characters have really been introduced, whereas all of the Young Avengers have been introduced in the MCU. So that's going to be definitely where they go next. I don't think the Champions. I was really hoping it was going to be the Champions, but I think the Young Avengers have a little bit more stories to them, and the Champions don't really.
This is how I would like. I don't know. I think it would be cool where they already have the Young Avengers in the MCU, right? But they're all kids. So what if they're in a school setting? And I hope they like when
like
I take
like the Doctor Strange Academy, or like a school setting like that, like a superhero school setting. No.
Like a school setting. I hope they don't do like a High School Musical situation, but I'm just saying like a regular school, like a regular school setting, and then all of a sudden, like they're all on this like a co-sport, like boys and girls. You know what I mean? Because all fairness and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, like they're playing another team, and the champions are in it, and it's the kids.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like the
mean?
champions are in a different school.
Yeah.
Like Amadeus Cho. You know, it didn't have to be like a spelling bee or science project or something.
It could be like a math league they could meet.
Math league. She was a math league. That's why she said.
I was a math league. I take serious pride in that, and I was a musician. He calls me what do you call me? A bandy.
I never said. I don't think I've ever said the word bandy before.
What do you call me?
Probably band geek.
Oh yeah. I was an athlete. That was really hard.
Yeah. Math is hard.
Because, like, my school was the school of math and science that kids from like around the world would like go to. Okay. So I was competing against kids that actually like were like pro math. You know.
I didn't know you could go pro math. I thought it was just amateur math. I didn't know they had a pro league.
And I traveled because my brain skills were strong in the math region.
Was it like, all right, we have to get on this Delta air flight from, Portland, Maine, all the way to whatever. But what happens if another airplane is coming from LA at 650 knots? Huh? Like when do they meet at DFW? Sure.
So I was on the math league for 3 years, and I was a musician for 8. I was in a college band, state band, I was in an orchestra.
In 6th grade, I was a trombonist. And that was terrible because I never practiced.
I played the baritone saxophone, but I could also play the alto saxophone.
Where's the favorite place you've lived?
Favorite place I've lived is in.
Oh.
No, seriously though? Okinawa changed my life. The culture, the people, there's nothing like it. There's no place I've ever been, no other countries that I've ever been even compared. It's like a different planet.
Okinawa was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think for me, Idaho was. I probably had the most fun in Idaho because I like the outdoors and there's no mosquitoes there. I can't remember. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, we need to get back to Idaho. We've
Yeah.
been talking about it. And next we're gonna go on another like Idaho potato cruising.
Oh, I love Idaho potatoes.
I know.
They're so good.
Where'd that accent come in there? It's so good. Oh, y'all nice.
Whatever. Oh, anyways, Billy Pruitt.
Danny.
Billy Pruitt won the thing, so we're gonna have to get a hold of him. I don't know if we have him on Instagram or if his name is the same on Instagram. So we'll at him in the chat down here, and hopefully he replies back. He has won this very fitting, amazing Spider-Man from Brand New Day. It's 559. This is the first appearance of Screwball. If you guys aren't Spider-Man fan, that's okay. Screwball, basically like video blogs, all of her antics. No, this is my oldest on my PC. Anyways, she basically like has a YouTube channel. Get out of here, girl! I'm trying to talk. Anyways, so she has basically a YouTube channel where she basically makes money by fighting Spider-Man. Like she just gets herself in enough trouble that Spider-Man comes in and she basically videos it the whole time. Anyways, I thought it was fitting for our first live as this being our giveaway. Really cool. So good job, Billy Pruitt, for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you everyone else who also subscribed. Yeah, this was super fun. This won't be our last giveaway.
Giveaways upon giveaways upon giveaways.
Yeah. So I think there was one thing we skipped over, which was what we came up with two things, like to show off our PC every time, and we'll just come up with like one or two superlatives that we have to answer. So we came up with what our lowest grade comic and our most nostalgic comic, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So this is Sam's lowest grade comic in her PC,
which is pretty insane to me. This is the most beautiful 1.0 I have ever seen. This is a 1.0 Fantastic Four 48 First Appearance Silver Surfer.
Thanks,
it
Cameron.
looks ballin'. I still can't believe this isn't one.
Look at the Watcher, man. I can't believe that's who your favorite guy would be. Or who you want to be.
If I could be someone, I'd be one. It's pretty, well, I like the fact that he just knows everything. And he knows everything about everyone. So much so, he knows their next step.
He's basically Santa Claus. He knows if you've been naughty or nice, and that's it. And he just watches you.
Well, I wouldn't be born watcher. I'd be
So my lowest grade one is this one. This is Justice League of America number 9. It's pretty early. It is very jacked up. Like the video actually does not capture how bad this comic.
Yeah, the webcam makes that look amazing.
Yeah, it is so bad. And this is probably one of 2 DC comics in my, or one of 3 DC comics in my PC. Out of like basically 2 whole short boxes. I don't know, it's so iconic. I just love this. Love this one. I love it. What is your most nostalgic one?
I think
right over here. This one's mine.
Oh no.
Oh, whoopsies.
I'm just gonna cry while this rips the cover off my side one.
Oh no. Sorry.
So that
I didn't know that stayed on there.
sticks to the wall.
I just pulled it off the wall. Okay.
I love you.
What's your most nostalgic one? Oh, goodness gracious. Scooby says he's going to take your 1-0.
It's amazing. Most nostalgic?
Why is it nostalgic to you?
Silver Surfer 1?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say this feels more nostalgic than the first appearance of Silver Surfer because of the cover and the show. I used to watch the show with my dad when he did my hair. Like every morning before school, we'd either watch the X-Men animated series or Silver Surfer. And I love Silver Surfer because we watched the show, right? And my dad got deployed, and every time he got deployed, he'd bring back toys for me and Lewis. And he brought back a Silver Surfer, and Ken doll got kicked out of the Barbie house, and it was just Silver Surfer, and that's it. He was the shiny man of the house. So yeah, that was it. I no longer play with Ken anymore. That's true.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so this one is my most nostalgic. This is the first full appearance of Doomsday. This is just after Justice League 69. It was signed by Louise Simonson. This was a raw comic. I got graded. I got her to sign it. She talked to me for a little while. She's super, super nice. Yeah, it just brings back all those memories sitting in my room, grounded, reading my comics, getting them in the mail. And luckily, they upgraded their shipping service. You know what they used to ship those in?
Like little things. Like
a plastic bag with a white piece of paper on top, so you can see what the cover looked like, and your name was on the back, like on like a little piece of paper. And they came in like, I don't know. I felt like they came in pretty good condition. Like the mailman didn't like fold them in half and throw them in there. I had a pretty good mailman, I think. Now that I think back about it, it was super nice.
Yeah, Dad was telling me about. My dad used to be in the military too. And he would get the comics wrapped in the twine, like in the 4-way or whatever, on base, and like you'd pay a quarter and you'd get like a stack of like a little amount of comics, and then you'd take it out and you could trade out.
Well, that's super cool.
Yeah, because we got on that topic because we were talking about the Mark Jewelers, and he was like, "You're worth how much?" I'm like, no wonder Mark Jewelers barely made it through their time, because like they used to like exchange comics out in and out on the base, like a rental movie. Yeah.
Well, that was all of our content for today.
That is everything.
Does anybody have any questions?
Seems like there's a little bit of a line, so we'll get in.
Maybe. If you guys see this, please do us a favor, go down there, like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. If you want different stuff, throw it in the comment section. I'll be in there. I'll check everything out.
Did we say hi to Cameron Hamilton?
I did. Yes, I said hi to him.
Oh.
It was while you were talking.
Okay.
And then also subscribe if you want to see more cool content. We got a bunch of different ideas that we want to do for this channel. Bunch of different like playlist style things that you guys are going to be able to enjoy and watch. And we're really excited about it.
Thanks, Scoobs.
Yeah, thanks, Scoobs. Scoob's so nice.
I know. Yeah, he was one of our first comic fan. Scoobs,
yeah. Been there since day one.
I was to say, it was like our first comic fan friend.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
All right, how do we end this thing?
End stream.
End
Does
stream.
it save though? Did you Google it? Did you Google like if we click end stream?
I mean, you have to be able to click end stream, and then we'll just figure it out.
But what if you're supposed to click edit and then press a button that says, "Wait, what if you click edit and it does something else?" All right.
Which one do you want me to click?
There's an arrow.
Huh?
There's also an arrow.
Yeah, we never looked up how to end this thing. Thanks, Karen.
Hey, thanks.
All right, I'm just gonna end stream. Are you ready? On 3.
This was fun. I don't want to
2,
delete forever.
1, go. Oh, it says your stream will end immediately and you will no longer be live. End.